The Bible provides a succinct account of Adam and Eve's life after their expulsion from Eden, focusing primarily on their immediate family and the birth of their children. However, the Bible did not tell how many times Satan tempted them outside the Garden of Eden, and also the times the serpent returned to take their lives, and another encounter where Satan pushed Adam and killed him by drowning him before God resurrected him. This video delves into a lot of secrets not recorded in the Bible, but were recorded in the original books of Adam and Eve. And it also provides a detailed and dramatic account of the numerous encounters between Adam, Eve, and Satan after their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. The first encounter was the serpent's revenge. After being expelled from Eden, Adam and Eve faced immediate challenges. One of the first significant encounters with Satan occurred when the punished serpent, now identified with Satan, attempted to kill them. The serpent tried to deceive and harm them multiple times. In one instance, it threw a boulder at Adam and Eve, but God intervened, saving them and rendering the serpent mute. Satan also used disguises and tricks. Satan frequently used disguises and tricks to deceive Adam and Eve. He often appeared in various forms, including as an angel, to mislead them. One notable instance involved Satan disguising himself as an angel of light, attempting to convince Adam and Eve to return to the Garden of Eden. However, they recognized the deception and resisted his temptations. The river incident. In another dramatic episode, Satan led Adam and Eve to a high mountain and then to a river, convincing them to throw themselves into the water to end their suffering. As they were about to drown, God sent an angel to rescue them, rebuking Satan for his cruelty and reaffirming his protection over Adam and Eve. Throughout their encounters with Satan, Adam and Eve received divine assistance. Angels frequently appeared to offer comfort, guidance, and protection. These interventions underscored the ongoing relationship between God and humanity, even after the fall. The angels often provided practical help, such as teaching Adam and Eve how to survive in the harsh world outside Eden. God also provided Adam and Eve with prophecies and promises to sustain their faith. He foretold the coming of the Messiah and the eventual redemption of humanity. These promises gave Adam and Eve hope and a sense of purpose, helping them endure their trials and tribulations. The encounters with Satan in the books of Adam and Eve symbolize the broader struggle between good and evil. Adam and Eve's resistance to Satan's deceptions represents the human capacity for faith and perseverance. Their story serves as an allegory for the spiritual battles that all believers face. Adam and Eve's hardships and their encounters with Satan are depicted as tests of their faith and character. Through their suffering, they learn to rely on God's grace and develop a deeper understanding of His will. The river incident is one of the dramatic and poignant episodes described in the books of Adam and Eve, also known as the conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan. This incident highlights the ongoing struggle between Adam and Eve and Satan, as well as their reliance on divine intervention for survival and guidance. After their expulsion from the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve faced numerous challenges and temptations. One of the most significant trials involved Satan's attempt to deceive them by leading them to a river. This episode is detailed in the books of Adam and Eve, which provide a more elaborate narrative than the canonical Bible. In this incident, Satan disguised himself as an angel of light to deceive Adam and Eve. He approached them with a false message, claiming that God had forgiven them and that they could return to the Garden of Eden. Trusting the apparent angel, Adam and Eve followed him to a high mountain and then to a river. Satan led them to the river and convinced them to throw themselves into the water, promising that this act would end their suffering and allow them to return to Eden. Adam and Eve, in their desperation and longing for redemption, complied and jumped into the river. As they began to drown, it became clear that they had been deceived. At this critical moment, God intervened to save Adam and Eve. He sent an angel to rescue them from the river and rebuke Satan for his deceit. The angel lifted them out of the water and provided comfort and reassurance, reminding them of God's ongoing care and protection. The river incident is rich in symbolism and themes. It represents the constant struggle between good and evil, faith and deception. Adam and Eve's willingness to trust the disguised Satan highlights their vulnerability and the challenges they faced in discerning truth from falsehood. Adam and Eve's trials and tribulations are depicted as tests of their faith and character. Through their suffering, they learn to rely on God's grace and develop a deeper understanding of His will. The divine intervention in the river incident emphasizes God's mercy and protection. Despite their fall, Adam and Eve are not abandoned. God's actions demonstrate His commitment to guiding and supporting them through their hardships, reinforcing the theme of redemption and hope. The river incident in the books of Adam and Eve is a powerful narrative that adds depth to the story of Adam and Eve after their expulsion from Eden. It highlights the ongoing struggle between good and evil, the importance of faith and perseverance, and the enduring relationship between God and humanity. After the river incident, Adam and Eve faced numerous other trials and tribulations as described in the books of Adam and Eve. These trials highlight their ongoing struggle to adapt to life outside the Garden of Eden and their encounters with Satan. Here are some of the key trials they faced. The Cave of Treasures. After their expulsion, Adam and Eve found a cave to live in, which they called the Cave of Treasures. This cave became their primary dwelling place and a symbol of their new life of hardship. The text described their initial struggles to make the cave habitable and their deep sorrow at the loss of Eden. The Trial of Fire. In another attempt to deceive them, Satan appeared as an angel and convinced Adam and Eve to leave the cave and go to a high mountain. There, he created a vision of a beautiful garden, similar to Eden, and urged them to jump into a fire, promising that they would be reunited with God. Adam and Eve, recognizing the deception, prayed for God's help. God sent an angel to extinguish the fire and rebuke Satan. The Trial of Darkness. Satan also subjected Adam and Eve to a trial of darkness. He caused a thick darkness to envelop them, making them unable to see each other or their surroundings. This darkness lasted for several days, causing great fear and distress. Adam and Eve prayed fervently for deliverance, and God eventually sent an angel to dispel the darkness and restore light. The Trial of Hunger and Thirst. Adam and Eve faced severe hunger and thirst as they learned to survive in their new environment. At one point, they decided to fast and pray for several days, hoping to gain God's favor and forgiveness. During this period, Satan tried to tempt them with food and water, but they resisted his temptations and remained steadfast in their faith. God rewarded their perseverance by sending angels to provide them with sustenance. The Venomous Attack. In another trial, Satan sent a venomous serpent to attack Adam and Eve. The serpent bit Adam, causing him great pain and suffering. Eve, in her distress, prayed for God's intervention. God sent an angel to heal Adam and drive away the serpent, demonstrating His continued care and protection. The birth of their sons, Cain and Abel, brought new challenges. The rivalry between the brothers, culminating in Cain's murder of Abel, was a significant trial for Adam and Eve. They had to cope with the grief of losing a son and the anguish of Cain's actions. This event underscored the ongoing presence of sin and conflict in their lives. After the death of Abel and the banishment of Cain, Adam and Eve had another son, Seth. His birth brought renewed hope and a sense of purpose. Seth was seen as a righteous successor, and Adam and Eve devoted themselves to teaching him about God and the importance of faith. This period marked a time of spiritual renewal and growth for the family. The divine intervention in the trial of fire emphasizes God's mercy and protection. Despite their fall, Adam and Eve are not abandoned. God's actions demonstrate His commitment to guiding and supporting them through their hardships, reinforcing the theme of redemption and hope. Recovering from the traumatic experience of the trial of fire was a significant challenge for Adam and Eve. The books of Adam and Eve provide insights into their recovery process, highlighting their resilience, faith, and the divine support they received. Here are the key aspects of their recovery. After the trial of fire, God sent an angel to comfort Adam and Eve. The angel reassured them of God's ongoing care and protection, reminding them that they were not abandoned despite their fall. This divine intervention provided them with much-needed emotional and spiritual support. Adam and Eve turned to prayer and worship to strengthen their faith and find solace. They spent time in prayer, seeking God's guidance and expressing their repentance. Their devotion helped them reconnect with God and find inner peace. To maintain their spiritual strength, Adam and Eve established a routine of regular prayer and worship. This routine provided structure to their lives and helped them stay focused on their faith, despite the challenges they faced. Adam and Eve's experiences taught them valuable lessons about discernment and the nature of deception. They became more cautious and vigilant, learning to recognize Satan's tricks and relying on their faith to guide them. In addition to spiritual growth, Adam and Eve also developed practical skills to survive in their new environment. They learned to cultivate the land, build shelters, and provide for their family. These skills helped them adapt to their new reality and regain a sense of control over their lives. Adam and Eve supported each other through their trials. Their shared experiences and mutual encouragement helped them cope with the emotional and physical challenges they faced. Their bond strengthened as they relied on each other for comfort and strength.